No waiting around. Hitting the A bomb site. Utility over the top. There is Groovy to hold things down here at CT, but the bomb site itself has fallen. It's looking pretty overwhelmed right now. They've got no control at all on the CT side as the bomb goes down. Just going to go for the fully fledged retake. They do have an awful lot of utility for Furlan. Kit, of course, for Oscarish. Great flash coming in as well. Thomas going to get clapped down easily enough. Crucial as well, trying to face, but unfortunately can't find anything. 5 versus 3 coming in. It looks like the full-on retake is going to work out here for Ago. Fiku finding another frag. It's all onto Surreal and Mighty Max. They do find 2 pretty quickly. A third coming in, but the defuse in the smoke. Surreal. Oh, that's a massive frag. Unfortunately, the kills come in. Have they found the kit? They have indeed. And MHL is on the bomb. Goodness gracious me. That was almost a turnaround from Endpoint.
Yeah, that was really close. Good retake procedures from AGO there. I like the flash to clear out CT. That's a good one that a lot of teams are using when they go for retake A setups, and it worked out very well for them there. That did get pretty hairy, though. I thought Endpoint had a good shot at it, and I'm kind of interested in the fact that Endpoint aren't going for the hero buy. I feel like most teams would opt for that nowadays, given that they got the bomb plant, but they'll go for something a little bit more modest, a couple Tech 9s, a couple 3 Deagles, and Mighty Max with the first engagement, but quickly fades off of that ramp.
MHL going to find the first frag of the round as well. They're looking good here, looking clean. But yeah, definitely an interesting conversation, I suppose, to be had about the confidence that they have in posting up an individual with a stronger rifle. Robin, he's going to find a couple frags here. Makes his way into window. He's got armor and now an A1S. So that's a pretty big find, actually, but he's the only one left. So going to have to go for the ace. Certainly easier said than done.
Yeah, 1v3 situation for Robin here. He's just stuck at jungle right now. He at least has armor, but not much util to work with. And that bomb is on catwalk right now. He still has some time to get it, but it will be a little bit difficult. But AGO actually are giving him a lot of space right now, and he might find a timing here. In fact, he will. He can't find the kill off of it, but this alerts AGO to his exact position, and it should be pretty clean from them at this point forward. Robin, 30 seconds remaining, going to be moving back up catwalk. He will retrieve that bomb, and if he actually decides to take this fight catwalk, maybe a chance, but Oscarish with perfect timing there, right when Robin was looking away towards connector. It will be a fairly clean 2-0 for AGO here. They only take 2 casualties, and they were able to recover one of those drop rifles. Other than that, it was just an MP9, I think, that was lost.
Yeah, it could have been a lot worse. I think maybe if Robin found those kills a bit earlier in the round, but damage control from the CT side. Either way, into the first buy round here. We've waited a little longer for this, I suppose, in a sense, than we thought we would, but Endpoint gonna have plans for it. Surreal pushed up in the apartments, trying to spot the heads, but unfortunately nothing coming his way. At least as, yeah, he definitely has an idea that someone is around, perhaps heard Oscarish running into that position at bench, but nothing coming. Not able to find anything early on. It's a pretty slow start here to round number 3.
Yeah, just some mid-control being taken by Endpoint. I think they've secured the positions of a couple of these guys at this spot. They haven't really taken connector just yet. They're kind of hanging around, and that might be their undoing. MHL is able to peek out a window and finds 2, actually. That is brutal for Endpoint here. I said secured, but I thought they would have been in connector by then. Just wasn't really noticing that they didn't get quite inside. And Fiku actually pushes on forward, takes down Surreal. This is looking like a very clean round once again for AGO. The last 2 are members from Endpoint coming out of ramp right now. And Palace, Crucial, and Thomas looking for something. Crucial is able to take down 1. He's looking for more. A nice tap on the head of Fiku, but only those frags go the way of Endpoint. It's a 3-0 start for AGO, and Endpoint kind of waiting maybe a little bit too long to decide where it is that they want to go, and AGO are able to capitalize beautifully off of that.
Definitely their indecisiveness being their downfall. And I mean, these 2 frags are nice, but ultimately consolation at the end of the round. Not really that close at all. Not much of a contest for AGO. So Endpoint once again going to be on to the half buy. Few pistols built up. Going to try and rush the ramp, and it does work out for them. 2 quick frags coming in, but MHL on the AWP, little harder to get past. Does need to be careful and is missing some shots. The gap beginning to close, but he'll deny the bomb plant. Crucial goes for a cheeky one in the smoke. Unfortunately, not going to happen for him. And that might just buy the time that AGO need right now for the rotations and whatnot to come on through. MHL with another frag. 3k for him so far, and the P250 of Mighty Mac's not going to be able to find anything. So, once again, good damage control from the Polish sides. And getting their 4th round in a row.
Yeah, clean stuff. This is basically what happens if you're Endpoint and you don't have quite the utility you would normally hope for. A good attempt from them, all things considered, but just a little too strong of a play from MHL. I mean, he was the player to watch out for in this game on the Polish side, and he has been delivering thus far. He's looking pretty sharp already. 9-1 scoreline, already over 2 kills per round. We're now on the 5th. We'll see if he's able to continue that. Surreal, once again, pressuring this position at B. And actually, there's only a single person there. Thomas, though, at the lurk on Palace, he's able to find a 1-for-1 on Grubby. Fiku is able to take him out in return. 4v4 situation right now. And Endpoint, once again, they don't really have any kind of control. They don't have that ladder, window, or even connector at this point. And maybe this is what AGO kind of saw in the offense from Endpoint. Maybe they thought they could exploit this, because it is a little bit concerning that with a minute left in the round, Endpoint really don't have any solid control of middle, but they will be making their way up cat.
Yeah, definitely seem to have just been floating around middle for most of these rounds, and as we've said, as we pointed out, indecisiveness, but finally making a decision. Good amount of time to work with here. Furlang gonna fall. Great angle from MHL. If he just commits to it, he might find a frag. However, they know where he's at now. It's all going to be onto Oskarish on the site, I think, and he's not able to find anything. Wow, okay. This seems to have fallen apart for the CT side, and Fiku just going to look to save. There you go. Endpoint finally put a stop to things and get their first round on the board.
Yeah, that's a nice little way to play it from Endpoint. You don't really have to take control of connector or window if all you need to do is brute force your way up cat. That works out very well for them. I'm a little bit surprised that AGO didn't come out with any more frags than that, but you know, nonetheless, good stuff from Endpoint here. They're able to get their first round on the board. Only Fiku remains, and AGO actually, they won the first 4 in what felt like pretty dominant fashion, keeping 3 alive very frequently, but that op investment and the fact that they did lose a couple rifles actually makes this a kind of interesting decision for them here. They could force into it if they want to get back in this game, but I would more likely expect a half buy coming out from them with Fiku just on this hero AK, but we'll see.
It's an early decision. I mean, they've got a relatively good lead, but I think most teams opt to go for the safe play here, the respectable play, as it were.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Eagle in play, quick boost up. Nice stuff. Furlang going to drop Crucial. There you go. That's a bit of damage. That's the AWP taken down. Keeping that economy modest as always. And I think they'll ditch this AK properly. Or maybe the AWP itself. Okay, interesting. Big chunk of money taken out of the map then. Every little does help AGO, that's for sure.
Surreal still pressuring here at B. A decent Molotov does some damage to Oskarish there, but Endpoint, they don't really seem like they are actually too interested in going B. A good call from them here, as they've pulled 3 of the rotations already, actually, from AGO. It will just be Fiku here at Ticket Booth in just a moment, and we'll see what he is able to accomplish. He has this AK. If the CT smoke from Endpoint, which would likely come out here, is or has a gap or allows him to go for a peek on top, that might give him an opportunity. And actually, it will be just right side smokes coming out from Endpoint. So Fiku might have a great opportunity right here to find a few kills. This is really going to be all up to him. They will be scaling in his direction right now. He's going to be presented his first opportunity, but he's not able to find that kill. It will be Groovy that does. Fiku is still here, but Thomas does shut him down. 3v3 situation, and Endpoint will be taking control of CT spawn.
Ooh. Crisp one onto Groovy, the last man that they really had to worry about. MHL on the flank will manage to find one. If he'd have got any more than that, would have been a little too ridiculous, but not going to be the case. Still, though, that's some really good damage done, considering the buy from the CT side, and sure, they'll be able to reinvest here on the Endpoint side of things, but at what cost, right? They've only really got Surreal, who's got a nice bit of cash built up at this point. They do need to be careful. Robin's not too bad either, but, you know, it's not a good precedent to set, I suppose. MHL trying to get aggressive, not going to happen for him. Gets a bit stuck on the window. Mighty Max all the way up short here. Might not be what they're expecting at all. Bit of a faster round from both teams in and around this mid-control. So a little bit of a crazy one here. And Max is all the way into ladder room. So that lack of control you were talking about, Maui State, they've now kind of taken the initiative and gotten themselves a little bit of pressure early on.
Yeah, that's a nice way to remedy the kind of unwillingness to take control early on. Just send your IGL Mighty Max right there into ladder room early, and it forces the hand of AGO. You can see that it already has presented crucial a kill towards B apartments. AGO, they don't like the fact that Endpoint took this space away from them so early in the round. Minute left, and usually we're seeing a few Endpoint players just kind of mosey on around middle, haven't really taken anything just yet. This time around, they found a kill and they've slotted a player into ladder. Now, Thomas doesn't actually have any utility to cross this area safely, and Fiku may actually have an opportunity to find him here. It's actually going to be Mighty Max who peeks on forward. Fiku's able to find the kill. Thomas with a nice and timely trade. That just leaves Oskarish here on the B site. MHL and Oskarish both have ops, and they are set up to find quite a few kills here. Oskarish is still here. MHL is able to take down another, and Robin trades out that B site anchor. And MHL, I think he wants to get some pressure onto the site. He's able to at least give his teammates some info, but it's Grubby in the 1v1 right now. Surreal with low HP. He has to find the instant headshot, or Grubby will take him down. And the patience from Grubby is rewarded. Another round on the board for AGO. That's their 5th year. Endpoint, it looked like they found the recipe for success, but AGO, I think that double op really did Endpoint in this time.
Yeah, threw them for a loop for sure. There was not a lot of utility to work with, not a lot coming in, particularly towards the jail window, right? Made life very easy indeed. One watching the drop kind of area, one watching that initial cross, and it worked perfectly. Really well done. Bit of a change up. As soon as Endpoint get a foot in the door, it is indeed the double up setup that will be their downfall. Not going to be back in this round. 3 MP9s, in fact, so a stronger buy here from the T side, objectively so. Really going to be difficult with these MP9s. It limits their options, and that also important mid control we've talked all about, but Endpoint not really vying for it this round. Seems to be like A will be the goal. But it does depend. Surreal loves to play the apartments, loves to get aggressive and try and catch someone off guard. But so far, AGO have been doing a really good job of not really giving him any chances at all. So we're into another round here that's a very slow start that doesn't really seem to have anyone taking that initial advantage. Just a bit of utility expended in places. It looks like Endpoint will go for a late mid take.
Crucial will be just dry peeking up top con. Fiku might get caught off. Crucial takes his elbow right off, and they actually get information about Furlan, who is now in ladder room. You can see that this forces the hand of Oskarish once again. I think he pushed B just a couple rounds prior, maybe last round actually, when they lost this info, but Surreal won't be there to take him out this time. He moves towards underpass, and Mighty Max trying to secure ladder once again for his team. Endpoint, they had a 5v4 last round and the same ladder control. The only difference was that AGO had an op on that B side. This time around, it will be Furlan in the window, but he misreads that smoke actually, and he loses his life because of it. Oskarish has pushed in B apartments. I think Endpoint may have recognized this, though, so they will be planting a little bit safer for Catwalk. Oskarish, he's looking for something here. Robin, though, takes his head right off. A very quick shot, and that should be a save call from AGO. You can see that they're already running back, but Thomas is already here on the flank. Takes down one, just leaving Groovy. He will try to save this op in the upcoming round, but that'll be it for Endpoint here.
Yeah, looking a little better in terms of the contest, as it were, in these past few rounds, keeping it back and forth, keeping it close, even when they lose. So not quite as dominant. Definitely do need to turn things around here going into that second half, and this is a step in the right direction. That economy of the CT side very quickly going to break. They won the previous round, but it was very costly. They lost that one, and now stuck in a difficult position. I feel like, yeah, indeed, they should spend a bit of money around this AWP and try and make it work. They came close with the kind of Deagle buy before. That was around an AK, which can be a bit more awkward to work with on its own, but an AWP on its own can do an awful lot of damage.
Yeah, MHL will be the player to watch here. The lurk smoke comes out from Surreal. Usually this does not actually favor the CT here, but he's playing very up close with it. And Surreal, he knows that AGO, they're a little bit desperate here, that they want something. And Surreal reads it perfectly somehow, some way. Takes down MHL. He's going to keep pressing on forward. And Furlan, he wanted to be silent about that. And that ends up costing his life. He could have probably ran away, but sticking around a little bit longer. Surreal read it very well. Mighty Max to follow up. And Fiku, who was able to get a frag onto Thomas earlier on this round, may be rewarded for his efforts, as he can probably take this terrorist rifle into the upcoming round. Doesn't look like Endpoint is too keen on hunting him down.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. They come in with the AWP, leave with an AK. It's not a bad result, but maybe would have wanted a bit more from this round.
Yeah, it's always a little bit risky if you know that Surreal's throwing that lurk smoke at B apartments every time. Trying to send the op there for something, you either have to just practically push his smoke dry, or, you know, play like MHL did there. Surreal just one step ahead though. I don't know if many kind of lurkers towards B would have done that same spam that Surreal did there, but I mean, power to you. A veteran play, just kind of reading his own smoke, you know, dictating the fight, and he just gets the better of MHL there.
He does seem really comfortable on that side of the map as well.
Yes.
On his own and making his own kind of plays round after round. He will have a bit of assistance this time. Needs to be careful though. Dinked out pretty early, trying to go for the pre-fire here, but surely goes down. He will indeed. He is traded quickly enough, but again, another kind of round where any damage is good damage from the CT side. Maybe if Fico would have joined them, it could have been a bit more devastating, but always risky to rush the underpass like that. But it does look like Endpoint, once again, will have weathered the storm, and the beauty of this T side that they have at the moment is indeed the effectiveness of their anti-ecos. Got to be careful playing fire with the Deagle here. But Groovy can't find the result that he wants. Robin with the panic Molotov. But it's all good. They both back away, and the A-bomb site will be the end goal now for the T side.
Yeah, it should be pretty clean for them, all things considered. They have quite a few smokes. They could just keep Grubby and Fiku out of this round. It looks like Grubby will have a chance to recover this AK into the upcoming one. And that's kind of how AGO bought to play anyways, the way that they bought around that op, not by fully investing, but by just buying deagles and no armor. They knew they were on pretty much a double save regardless, and that is a little bit unfortunate for Fiku there. He was hoping to catch out Thomas on the balcony, but Thomas just peeks it just his shoulder, doesn't give Fiku really anything to work with, and Thomas just spamming that right there takes a life away, and I think Endpoint may have thrown that AK out. So Grubby, nothing really to work with here. He does have armor, and I'm sure he would like to move forward with that so that he can buy full utility and not have to reinvest this smoke grenade. I mean, that's $1,000 right there. You don't want to really just toss that away if you don't need to. And the damage you would inflict at this point, you know, it'd be nice to get a kill, but it's just so unlikely with 13 HP. I really respect this play a lot more than going for a straight up gun duel.
Yeah, this is, I suppose, what we like to see when we're spectating, but definitely when you're playing, it's hard to keep the kind of aggression under check, in the sense that I'm going to be buying next round anyway. A lot of players would love to just go for it, and you never know, might hit a cool 1D, guys. But the smart play, the safe play. It's always good to see. And hopefully he can indeed put this extra utility that he's got to good use. It looks like he's facilitating Fiku to push up middle here, as well as Oscarish behind him. Crucial in with the collateral, denied. Oh, they do manage to find a frag, but it costs them a little bit too much. Crucial still unsure as to whether there are more players around at middle, but he's weakened up particularly this B bomb site, which was the bomb site that they kind of had to sacrifice the player to make sure that that two-man push was effective. Unfortunately, getting absolutely destroyed. See what MHL can do as he is about to meet the entire force of this Endpoint team.
Yeah, this will be all on MHL right here. There have been a lot of players who have come up with some big rounds at this B site, and MHL starting it off strong. He gets one onto Surreal, looking for more. He takes down Thomas as well, and he actually takes out Robin from the skies. MHL gets the 4K, an impressive defense for him right there, putting AGO on their 6th round.
Well then, bit of a crazy round for the AWPs. Goodness me. Not quite sure. Once again, I think the utility usage here, you can see it comes in. I think that was a Molotov behind him to push him out from the empty pillar, but they're just a bit too giddy on the Endpoint side to go for it. I think patience would have worked a bit better for them. Furlan aggression this time works perfectly, taking down Thomas. Mighty Max once again has gone for this short rush into ladder room, but they're already a man down incredibly early on into this round. And Furlan's going to find another as well with that nasty little off angle. So surely he's done enough work for this round for AGO to find themselves a 7th.
Yeah, this should be good enough. Grubby getting Mighty Max as well probably means that this is a victory for AGO. Crucial and Surreal still remain, and Surreal, I mean, I feel like he's seen a couple players die already, and he will still meet the same fate. Furlan with a pretty monster round, actually. But it just feels like MHL may have rallied the troops with that last performance, and it just feels like at this point AGO, they could do no wrong in this round. 5 alive for them. That being said, Endpoint, they still have some decent money, but probably will be a half buy for them. Yeah, Deagle armor, Tech 9 armor, an AK coming out from Robin. Interestingly, a Surreal Scout. Maybe he had the mid spawn here. I'd like to see what kind of pick he goes for. Actually, it will be Ramp. Fiku will be making the cat jump here, looking for some kind of fights. He's playing right in the smoke, actually, and he may be able to catch one off, but as Endpoint fade away, his opportunities have now vanished.
Yeah, I could see that going south for him quite easily, though, as well. Bit of a risky one. Do you need to be careful on A here? Groovy, the only player over at triple. Yeah, kind of realizes the fact, drops back a little bit. He does have slight bit of assistance from the Palace position, but unfortunately there's only really one player coming from there for MHL. Does indeed pick out Thomas, of course. Surreal also going to fall. MHL, it's just absolutely unstoppable with this AWP in these past few rounds. They will indeed get the bomb plant in, which I suppose is one of the minor goals, but only the one frag going their way. Furlan does survive on 1 HP, so almost 2, but all the same, AGO with good damage control to pick up their 8th. Oh, okay, Furlan kills himself. Unlucky.
I don't know how that quite happened, but I like how MHL took that shot on Thomas. Thomas, you know, air strafing out, and MHL, a lot of oppers there, when they're aiming low, they just try to desperately flick up, you know, with varied results. MHL just kind of slowly drags his crosshair up and hits that shot. Crucial, with a very nice reaction there, is able to pick up the opening frag. Nothing like the way MHL was able to get that kill onto Thomas, but a good advantage for Endpoint taken here. They've been pretty good at converting these 5v4s. I think the only time they haven't has been when MHL had a hero round, and when they just couldn't take mid control quickly enough. This point, though, I think they have good spacing, and Surreal picks off another. Oscarish is able to find the trade, but 3v4 should still favor Endpoint.
Yeah, looking good for them here. Once again, trying to keep things as competitive as possible once they have the rifles in play. Oscarish, though, this is the play that you like to see in a situation like this, where they are a man down, they need something to make a difference. An off angle in the B apartments, aggressive in the B apartments, really could make the difference, but looks like Endpoint are faking things out. A bit of utility over the top. Oscarish going to creep forwards. Oh, beautiful stuff. He only gets one, but Groovy's also down below to find two. And MHL, of course, ever consistent on the AWP. They pull it back. Endpoint letting that round slip away. A big, big question mark for me. They let the guy in the underpass completely catch them off guard.
Yeah, that was a good way to play it back from AGO, but yeah, that probably should have been traded a little bit more cleanly. I'm really surprised that Endpoint let that one slip away. It feels like, to me, in this first half, their comms just haven't been, and their kind of protocols that I'm used to seeing from them are just not on point. Maybe a little bit of a slow start. Maybe they can pick it up in the second half on the CT side, but this feels not like the Endpoint I'm really used to. I kind of, looking at their history in the last few months, they've been playing a lot of matches, so I can understand if there's a little bit of fatigue on this side, but I would say that they really need this one here. They fake an exec towards A early on, actually kind of miss the jungle smoke. It ends up being a deep jungle smoke, which I doubt is what they wanted, and I think they're going for the re-exec here with the remaining 3 smokes. They can still do a pretty nice exec, all things considered, but we'll see how AGO respond. There's a lot of util left still on the AGO side.
Groovy, hello?
I think he lagged out.
I think he might have done. That's a bit of a weird kind of movie, the way Fiku in that dark. Gonna try and hold things down. They have to adapt here on the AGO side of things. MHL, of course, still alive, coming in for a 2K. Might not even need the man at CT. Oh. He will get traded back, so that's gonna make a difference. Crucial doesn't realize it. Oscarish gets the final 2 frags.
It's just so
a bit awkward.
That's so comical. Like Groovy, he just crouch swings into the wall.
Yeah, it's just really good to watch.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. I'm pretty impressed with MHL though in this first half. It seems like it's really been all him. Endpoint looked like they were actually going to probably run away with the half, but then Groovy wins that round on, I think it's round 11 there, and it just kind of collapsed for Endpoint at that point. They lost 5 straight off of that. 23 kills for MHL. This half, that was all of him. I mean, that was pretty much a 50-50 one, and then I would say he kind of single-handedly carried AGO over that. Like, when Endpoint looked like they were really coming back into it, it was all him.
Yeah, I think there was definitely a moment where, or a few moments I should say, where it looked like Endpoint had a decent chance and he was just able to bail them out a lot as well. So both consistent rounds where not necessarily opening up, not necessarily getting aggressive, but playing a nice passive style. But then every now and then when it was required, he would step up and pull off the big 3K on his own, or I think there was a round where he did indeed get a 4K on his own. So really, really massive half from him. And that's kind of scary, particularly on your CT side, if they're not able to abuse the fact or try and make use of the fact that they've only got the one man making the effective plays. It really does set them up for a tough time, perhaps, going on to the T side, where he's able to work with the team a little more.
Yeah, we'll see how he's able to get involved with the op. It is generally easier for, I mean, when I watch MHL play, I feel like he already just looks like a great CT side operator, the way he kind of just drags his crosshair, make sure he hits the moving targets. But sometimes when you're aggressing on T side, that kind of style of aiming and mechanics actually doesn't really work to your favor as much. If you find yourself in a post plane, it can be great, but to actually push forward in that manner can be a little bit difficult, where you have to be a lot snappier, where you have to push on forward, just kind of like, you know, entry a bomb site, flick, look 2 different directions, and then just quick scope a guy, or just like, you know, take someone out at a close range. It felt like a lot of MHL's frags were kind of when the distances were like middle long range. I haven't really seen him work too much at the close range. He did kill that guy at the end who was just kind of running through a smoke, but that looked kind of standard too. So I mean, I don't doubt that he can keep it up here, but I think that if AGO has to rely on him so heavily, it will be just a little bit more difficult here on the T side.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it, to see how playstyles can shift. Obviously, we're getting a bit of a pause here, a bit of a reset while we're waiting for Ruby to get back in. So I suppose in a way that kind of benefits Endpoint getting a little bit of time to work with. Yeah, he definitely did time out there, so hopefully should be back as soon as possible, but it's kind of hard to call. Timeout, in my experience, generally means that like your internet has just kind of died, so hopefully they sort things out quickly here. But yeah, a really, I think, hard time for Endpoint. Hopefully should flip. Max only on the 2 frags, so definitely need him to step up in a bit of a better way. And you never know, we've just seen how much impact the AWP has had for AGO. Maybe Crucial can kind of do the same here on his CT side. They're also not afraid of a double AWP setup on the Endpoint side of things, so will be interesting to see what the choices are, and obviously they're going to have a fair amount of time to talk it over.
Yeah, this is a good time to just find a mental reset. If you're Endpoint, you looked like you were possibly in control of that half, and it all just kind of slipped away. I'm sure they're kind of okay with this right now. I think it gives them some time to breathe. AGO was on a bit of a heater, winning probably 2 rounds there to close things out that they otherwise shouldn't have. I mean, the MHL 4K is definitely what's seared into my brain at this point, but also that one that they had the player from Underpass and the player from Upper B pushing simultaneously, and Endpoint just, I don't even think they found either of those players, or that kind of round slipped away from Endpoint as well. Sometimes that's just how a day starts as a team, where your comms are just, you start the game and it just feels like, like the comms are just not there. Like people are just kind of like on autopilot a little bit. I've felt like Endpoint's fatigue might kick in at this point. Like, you probably feel like you're the better team and you should just play like it, and sometimes that leads to players getting a little bit lazy, taking things for granted. All the good communication that I'm sure Endpoint has developed over the just many months that they've been together. I'm not even, are they has it been a year with this 5-man lineup? I'm not quite sure, actually.
I don't think quite that long, but I think best part of a year, I'm pretty sure, if that makes sense. So kind of 7-8 months kind of thing. Definitely been working on it for a little while, but I casted them, would have been the spring finals. Yeah, I think it was kind of after the, yeah, so about 8 to 9 months, I believe. So yeah, definitely a good chunk of time for sure.
Oh, okay. By the way, for any viewers, we would like to remind you guys that there is a giveaway running by Skin Baron, one of the sponsors of Home Sweet Home Week 8. And what's going on is that you can win 10 euro vouchers, a Bayonet Damascus Steel factory new, an M4A1S Player 2 factory new, and any of these prizes could be yours if you visit the Esports Bible on Twitter, and I think it's the pinned message on that Twitter account. And if you guys enter the contest, you have a chance to win. Just follow the instructions there on the Twitter. But once again, that is the THE Esports and Bible, the normal spelling. So be sure to check those out. And I mean, I'm not, all right, THEESPORTSBIBLE. If you have a little bit of difficulty, no excuses at this point. Just follow the instructions on that Twitter, and maybe you could win a new knife.
Yeah, the Player 2 skin as well is pretty nice. It's pretty nice. I do like using it, and maybe indeed you can steal that away. But look, folks, while you guys, okay, maybe never mind. We were just about, we had production in our ear. You guys can go to a break if you want, and then of course, just even thinking about it, the player comes back. So it looks like we will be back into the action pretty quickly. So no break, but you still got plenty of time to go and check that giveaway out and get amongst it. Obviously, we've only got a couple more days left, so do be sure to at the very least get some entries in there and give yourself a chance at winning some nice skins and whatnot to play with. Either way, Action hopefully should be back on board. I think their coach is taking up one of the player slots right now. Indeed.
Ooh,
and then just get the match medic in here. So let's go.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. All right. Yeah, Groovy is back. AGO is playing with their full 5-man lineup. And they have one set of utility. Furlan with a single smoke. Popping out pretty early. I think that's going to be a top con smoke. And it looks like AGO... Oh, actually, I'm not sure if that landed exactly where they thought it would. Or maybe it did. Well, first frag is going to be going the way of Robin. And now... AGO planting the bomb will have pretty good control of jungle right now. Groovy still wants a little bit more space. This might actually catch them off guard. That's a nice little push from Groovy right there. And MHL somehow able to find 2 on top of Triple right now. It's just down to Crucial and Thomas. They've been some pretty strong players in this game, but Crucial missing the shots. Does not give his team a chance there. But nice little quick strat from AGO. Continues the momentum from the previous half. And now 11-5 up.
Awkward to watch there at the end, but I think it would have been hard anyway. There was a lot of bodies to deal with. But yeah, really nice stuff to open up for AGO. Endpoint immediately on the back foot. Not the ideal situation right now. Really going to make life difficult for them, but we will see. Can never write off these Deagles. That is what I always say. The Deagles and the Scout, of course. The infamous pairing. Robin going to get blinded up, so not really able to find anything. Peeks out and is taken down. Surreal in at dark. Good for one, but dealt with quickly. Again, AGO doing a really good job. Mighty Max pushed up in the apartments. Will take down Furlan. But ultimately to no avail. The bomb goes down on the other side of the map. And it should be... AGO picking up their 12th round. It is a question of damage control now. They don't want to lose any more players than this, really. I think Endpoint also just going to concede things, so take what they've got into the next round. The Mac 10, relatively effective. So we'll see what Max can get done with that in the next round. But it will be a 12th indeed for AGO, looking pretty good here early on in the second half.
Yeah, AGO, clean stuff. I feel like now that's the second time, though, they messed up what's supposed to be a top con or a jungle smoke. Either way, it's not landing where I think they want it. They'll probably have to figure that one out. I think they're doing it right out of spawn, which can be a little bit trickier. I think that's kind of like a crouch jump throw while moving forward thing. It's a lot of moving parts, so I don't blame the player, but they might have to move away from that here. It doesn't look like that's suiting them very well, but this should be... regardless of whether they hit or miss their smokes, a relatively clean round. Endpoint is working with a single Mac 10, 3 Deagles, and a USP on Crucial. It does look like there may be fireworks here at the A bomb site, though. Mighty Max pushes on forward, and he actually takes down Ostrich right when he pulls his nade out. That is some excellent timing for the IGL right there. Groovy steps forward as well, and he's able to take down Mighty Max, but he hasn't cleared the balcony out, but it doesn't seem to matter. Groovy, with a nice 3K there, shuts Endpoint in their valiant efforts to just make something out of nothing.
Yeah, once again, really good damage control coming in from AGO. They've been fantastic against the vast majority of these anti-ecos, regardless of what side of the equation they're on. So really good stuff, getting their accumulator rounds. Endpoint not able to get their individuals going. No cheeky steals for them in this game, and it's really making the difference here, up to 13. Before we get into our first rifle round, AGO, although we kind of looked at their stats and whatnot as being a little weird, Endpoint should be able to get the better of them here on Mirage. Might be close, but boy, were we wrong. Endpoint really looking like a shadow of themselves in places, and AGO definitely have worked on their Mirage. But Robin gonna find the first Crucial coming in to make sure they have a solid man advantage early on here. Maui Snake. Groovy gonna try and get some damage done on the A bomb site, but very quick round across the board, going heavily in favor of Endpoint right now. Another frag going their way. Groovy does get one before falling, but still that 2-man advantage.
Yeah, just Furlan and Oscarish remain. They may catch Mighty Max as he's jump spotting here. Actually, Mighty Max kind of missed an opportunity, but actually does catch them off guard. And now Crucial, with that op, is able to take down Oscarish. This should be pretty clean for them here. It's just Furlan that remains, and Thomas will swing on him, take him down. Endpoint with what was looking like a very clean one, but a couple casualties at the end of it all. And they'll be able to accomplish their 6 right then and there. AGO probably not all too worried, though. They still have decent money to work with. Might not have 5 AKs, but they still were able to bust out that op. And 1 Galil isn't really all that bad, considering the fact that most of the time CTs don't buy head armor anyways.
Indeed. But very quickly here, Endpoint have got a chance to break the bank. Maybe get a few rounds back. We're not quite believing yet. It is closing the gap, but AGO have done a fantastic job at adapting and bouncing back, at least on their CT side. A little harder to tell how things are going to go here on the T side of things. Crucial once again holding from short. Fairly tight angle, but I think looking to get away as quickly as possible, regardless of whether he finds a frag or not. Smoke coming in over at Connector to work with. Utility being expended here by AGO, and Fika with a quick one onto Crucial. Makes easy work of him. A nice man advantage now, and mid control coming in for AGO. Meanwhile, Garubi in the Palace, looking to strike at the perfect time.
Yeah, this is setting up pretty nicely for AGO. They're headed towards B right now, and it's just Mighty Max. He's had a quiet game thus far, but he's going to have to step up here. Fiku will peek him, and Mighty Max will continue to be silenced. AGO with free reign of the B bomb site, and it should be another one given to the side of AGO. The only question is how much damage can Groovy find from this Palace position. He's able to take down Robin. He's looking for more. And it's just Thomas and Surreal at the side of the map. They're just looking to self-preserve at this point in time. But AGO, yeah, that was a pretty clean round from them. They find the opening pick and just keep on keeping on with it. They will be able to put themselves at a 14-6 advantage here. Groovy doesn't want to re-peek from Palace, will now be approaching from ramp. I think Surreal is pretty keen on this, though, but it's just a matter of will Surreal get timinged. It looks like right then and there, Surreal turns away Groovy. He may actually have an opportunity. This would be so unfortunate if you're Surreal, as he played so much of this round correctly, but his foot has been given up, and Groovy oddly doesn't want to take that fight. I guess he's tagged down a little bit too low for his liking, but that's an opportunity to take a gun away when you know that the money is not looking good for Endpoint. Those are risks you usually would want to take, but with 28 HP, it's very hard to even envision a world in which the player misses all of their bullets as you fall down and try to kill him. So I can't blame him too much there. It probably was actually the right decision. And I think when he presses tab and sees 17-5 scoreline, he's just like, I've got to preserve this, Katie. It's a little too nice. I don't want to just give it up for free.
Yeah. There's some really good scorelines. We just saw the advanced stats there. MHL 120 ADR.
Yeah, he's
really,
absolutely
really
beasting.
stuff.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what we were
flashes.
talking about a little bit as well. Like in the pregame, it's something you can't really account for on the Endpoint side. Is someone popping off this hard? Been really difficult to deal with.
Yeah, it's kind of as you mentioned it, that this game, it kind of just is a little bit of who shows up today, because, I mean, neither of these teams have a convincing history on Mirage, I would say, and this map is sometimes just so individually driven. It feels like today for AGO, Groovy and MHL are really just popping off in a way that's hard to contest with if you're Endpoint. There's not a lot of answers on Mirage of all maps when a player is just absolutely destroying you. I think these anti-Zywoo strategy for a lot of teams at the tier 1 is to just try to find him and then go away from him. Or, it's like the anti-simple Zywoo.
Yeah.
It's kind of like what teams run there, but if you only have 25 seconds left in on the round and you're Endpoint and you're forcing that B bomb site, you can't really say at that point, oh shoot, we should back up. It's you just got to send it.
Pretty much, and I think he did a really good job on the CT side of being a little flexible and changing sites and whatnot, so he's kind of hard to track. in that sense.
Yeah.
And yeah, I feel like now they've just got a bit too much momentum within the game, and Endpoint kind of struggling to bring it to a standstill. And not only do they need to stop it, they also have to remain decisive for quite a few rounds here. Keeping them away from 15 for as long as possible is pretty important. But easier said than done at the moment. So we'll see what the adaptation is, what the change is. The starting point is not going to be ideal. They do indeed have a bye, but a FAMAS and a UMP already. Curious to see what Thomas has got. I think he might just have been dropped a weapon looking at the amount that he's spent.
Yeah. We're in a technical pause right now. Team speak problems, it looks like, and network issues. Yeah, it seems like AGO, they're doing their best right now to try to solve these issues, which have delayed this game. But, I mean, they're doing a good job to keep this game short, all things considered.
Yeah, I mean, they can have their technical issues. If it was maybe 12-12 or something along those lines, we'd be a bit more impatient as the game running on for a long time, and the excitement would be at a pretty high level, but fortunately not quite the case. They are making quick work of Endpoint at the moment, or at least trying to. There you go. As we get back into the action, they open straight back up where they left off with a clean one onto Surreal.
Another 5v4 advantage for AGO. The Polish side has been doing a great job at converting these as well. In fact, they've been nearly flawless on this entire half. That's a great nade, though, actually. Tags one of those players down pretty darn well. Oskarish is now down to 58 HP. But will it be enough? I mean, damage is great, but still, the man advantage will favor the Polish side. They will kind of give up middle. Furlan stays towards underpass. No real position secured, but he may actually just be able to creep up into connector. It will really come down to Robin and Crucial at this A bomb site, it looks like, as AGO are centering their hit.
Oh, Robin, great angle. They do peek out into him. They were kind of wary of the fact, but he still manages to find almost 2 frags. Has he done enough, though? That is the question. Crucial not ready for Furlan to be so far pushed up onto that A site. And it will be left in the 4 versus 2, making a 4 versus 1. All on to Thomas. It falls apart pretty quickly here. He does take a timely peek and catches Furlan, but left on 40 HP. Don't really see him finding too much more.
Oh, at least he's able to get one more, but this is kind of an interesting save call from him. I mean, in a big tournament when everything's on the line, you would probably see a player go for this, just because it's impossible to really expect to come back, 9 rounds straight. If you give AGO 9 match point or map points, not match points, it's a little bit too likely that they'll just walk into one even by accident. So Thomas just exercising a little bit of self-preservation, looking towards map 2 already, probably saying, you know what, maybe we won't win this game, but if I can get myself started here, I can perhaps carry over a little bit of that fire into map 2, which will be Vertigo, which will be Endpoint's map pick. By the way, this is AGO's map pick on Mirage, and they're looking pretty good on it.
Yeah, definitely. Like we say, we've been working on it because the stats not so great for them, but it's looked pretty comprehensive. Nice to have an individual step up in a massive way. But even then, moving on to the T side, where you noted and it kind of has been a little more difficult for him, it's still been pretty clean stuff from AGO. Looking to take us into map 2 prematurely here. Max is pushed up in the apartments, but not able to find the frag on Furlan. Feeling a bit robbed. The nade goes in, tags him down even further, but he's still alive. And they have to concede that control. That could have been a massive frag to find. As you can see, the utility really not in place right now for the CT side at all. So finding those early frags are very, very important. Oh, Fiku. He's seen that cross, and Max might just be dead to rights here if he's not careful. Great flash coming in for MHL. He's not able to find anything just yet. Missing all the shots, and well, his teammates have fallen because of it. He too will go down. Low HP in the underpass in the form of Furlan. Looks like Endpoint might be able to cling on a little while longer.
Yeah, that's a little bit of what I was alluding to here, with the fact that when I watch MHL play, he doesn't really look like a strong aggressive offer. He's really good at kind of holding, but you could see there when he had to flick around and try to make something out of, you know, thin air and just create, you know, space for his team. He hasn't really shown me that he can do that just yet in this game. Every shot has been kind of like a tracking op shot. Everything has been kind of like a player jumps out and he's able to follow them as they fly through the air. It's rarely that he's pushing on forward and looking for a kill. I said that was a little bit of a concern for him going into the second half, but this is a very interesting strategy. Might not even rely on MHL's op. In fact, it can't, given that there really is no chance of him getting one. He is able to find a kill on a Robin, and Groovy and Furlan are able to find a couple kills of their own. Is this the way that Endpoint fall? Off of an interesting strategy on the side of AGO. MHL, he does it all, doesn't need an op. 3K for him with the Tech 9, and AGO are able to find their 16th round right here. A pretty clean affair for them to take down Endpoint on map 1.
Yeah, it's surprising in a sense as well. As we said throughout the game, really, really good stuff. And Endpoint looking a little shaky. Sure, we're going into Vertigo, their map pick, and a map that they have taken some scalps on, etc., etc., but